you're interested in a European style sheet fed manufactured bag. Below you're going to find a variety of drop down menus and clickable items where you're going to actually build a request for quote, which will then be submitted to us for us to work on a custom quote for you and for us to work together on building the design and ultimately manufacturing this shopping bag for you. This bag typically, again, is more high-end shopping bag that is catered to the more luxurious companies and retail and cosmetic stores. Starting off, you're going to want to consider the quantity. The minimum quantity for us to run a sheet-fed production for you would be 3,000, and then there are price breaks moving up that you'll see below our options. So please take that into consideration. The higher the quantities, the more competitive the pricing we can give you. Then we're going to move into base materials. There are so many options for base materials. We list some for you that are standard, but if you do have something specific in mind, please list that in any of these areas in the blank box. And we do a lot of even more customized jobs where there's a specific base material, there's a specific paper. For example, this bag utilizes a pearlized paper. It actually is a paper that we purchase through a U.S. paper company, and we send it to our converting plant and we convert the bags using this specific paper. So there are a lot of different options for base materials, going from standard coated or uncoated papers to craft papers, natural white, and uncoated, to custom luxury papers that again will probably be considered through a handful of paper mills here in the U.S. that sell papers that are that can be beater dyed, which is dyed all the way through the paper. So when you tear it, it's that color all the way through the paper. Some people require special papers, and we can certainly manufacture whatever basis material you'd like to use. Then there are handle options. Again, we've listed some standard. I would say for rope handle, that style is most typical and normally comes in like a 5mm diameter. But there are a variety of diameters available. We have thicker diameter rope handles as well. But again, this is kind of typical for a rope handle. We also have flat handles that can come in grosgrains and twill, cotton materials or polypropylene materials. You know, the lengths can be shoulder length versus just standard length. So really, you know, if you have something specific, you know, please write that down, and it's not a problem. There's also die cut styles. Again, we've listed a lot of them to choose from, but if you have something specific in mind, please let us know. Typical for sheet-fed European bags, the construction normally is going to have a turned down top with a reinforcement inside. It's a board that reinforces it. It's also going to have a bottom board, which can be printed or not. It's entirely up to you. But those are typical construction features that would come with this style European sheet-fed bag. So we most of the time assume that that is, it will be made with those reinforcements. Occasionally when you have special turn down die cut, double fold over die cut handles and so forth, you know, we might put extra reinforcement in. Again, you know, we can do whatever you need. Let's see, the paper weights vary. I've found that in working on custom jobs like this, and someone indicating they want a high-end shopping bag, that the paperweight makes a big difference. So something that's almost board-like is going to give you a very sturdy, high-end looking bag. you know, versus some other bags that are a little bit lighter weight, which definitely can be sufficient, but it depends on your design. But there are a variety of weights available. Again, we've listed some below. Most typical, if you're looking for something that's fairly sturdy, that's not going to flop over, I would suggest probably considering anywhere from 160 to 200 GSM. There are a variety of laminations, both matte lamination, glossy lamination. We can also apply areas of a spot UV varnish in either a gloss or a matte. This is an example of an all-over gloss, whereas, you know, this is an all-over matte. Again, it depends on your design and look that you're trying to achieve. So in considering printing, with offset, sheet-fed production, there is a lot of flexibility in your design. So we can pretty much print whatever design you have, whether it be PMS spot colors, anywhere up to 6, 8 colors, to printing 4-color process, CMYK, to foil hot stamping. You know, there's plenty of examples right here of foil hot stamping in larger areas and coverage. All these C's, for example, on this bag are a foil hot stamp. And we also can apply embossing or debossing, which is either raising your logo or pushing your logo in. So a combination of printing can be also used. So you can print, let's say, an all-over coverage of a color, a specific color you have in mind, or a PMS color that you have in mind on the outside of the bag. And then we can apply then a foil hot stamp of your logo on the front. And then we can also emboss or deboss that logo if you'd like. So there are lots of different styles of printing, but we can combine those printing methods as well. Printing can also be applied on the inside of the bag. So we can give it an all-over coverage of ink. If you have logos and designs as well, any of that design can be printed on the inside of the bag as well as on the outside. So it can be printed on both sides of the sheet. Although when you're printing on the inside, we definitely want to consider applying a matte or glossy lamination or a matte or glossy varnish to help protect from any rub-off in the bag. Particularly if you're using this in a retail store where you're putting clothes in there. You don't want the inks rubbing off on that clothing. Nor do you want inks to rub off when you're carrying the bag onto your clothes. That's why laminations are very important, because they help protect from ink rub-off and they also give strength to the bag. If you have any other questions, please let us know. Again, production varies. Pricing is slightly more competitive in the Orient versus production in Mexico. But in the Orient, it takes a little bit longer to produce the bags for you. Again, roughly 12 to 14 weeks. And in Mexico, roughly 4 to 6 weeks. We also want to take into consideration the proofing process, which is initially what we do once we proceed with an order. We will actually make a proof for you, a printed proof for you to review and sign off on. That generally takes 2 to 3 weeks. And once that's approved, then we can proceed with the final production. And I hope I've answered all your questions. We look forward to getting your request for quote and working with you on your custom design and custom manufactured shopping bag. Thank you.